As fans already know, the New York Knicks had a seriously disappointing 2021-22 NBA season. Looking at their success in 2020-21, they have a good reason for retooling to stay competitive and blow up their core. Today, we're going to tell you guys about an NBA trade scenario involving Christian Wood and Eric Gordon that would send them from the Houston Rockets to the New York Knicks, as well as some other NBA news. But first, a reminder about our brand new giveaway. We're giving away a PS5 with a copy of NBA 2022 and Madden 22. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. It's that simple. First up, the future of Eric Gordon. For Rockets guard Eric Gordon and center Christian Wood, the highest paid Rockets this side of the eager-to-be-traded John Wall, it's definitely been a challenge to hear their names without thinking of the speculation that surrounds them. Gordon, however, said that he's not worried, even though he's only been traded once. He only cares about going out and playing. He is, however, aware of his value as a player. What about Christian Wood? This Rockets club is in the initial stages of rebuilding. It's still so early that it's understandable to ask whether or not the 26-year-old Christian Wood has a place in their future. The team chose to sit him down most of the year, and some of their future building blocks seem to do really nicely in his absence. We're not saying that he's not a worthy NBA player. Let's not forget that he averaged 17.9 points per game while shooting 39% from distance this season. He's among the finest shooting big men in the NBA for now. He has weaknesses, though. He does struggle somewhat on the defensive side. Therefore, it's possible that he isn't the ideal target for Tom Thibodeau. Also, putting a stretch big right next to a player like Julius Randle may finally open his offensive game back up. If the Knicks brass holds the same feelings, here are two trade packages that will take Christian Wood to the New York Knicks. Now, how teams are built. By doing this, the New York Knicks actually kill two birds with one stone. They flip Evan Fournier's possibly burdensome contract for a much shorter one in Gordon's, and in the process, they also acquire the best player in the deal. Basically, this one may be a really obvious choice for the Knicks. Whether it's good enough for the Houston Rockets will depend on their analysis of Obi Toppin. With the league's second worst defensive rating, it really couldn't hurt this Houston Rockets team to add some players who do really well on that end. Toppin counts as one of those. At 6'9" and 220 pounds, he has very unusual lateral mobility and timing at his large size. He could easily take the place of the undersized Jae'Sean Tate in the group's initial lineup. Taking on Fournier's contract is going to be a bother. Ideally, it doesn't have to be a deal breaker. Taking on shady contracts as a last resort to put some quality young players is actually nice practice for rebuilding teams. Also, Fournier's deal shouldn't be set in stone. After all, we've got the Knicks moving it now. It'll become even easier to find a taker in 1 or 2 seasons when its expiration date is drawing nearer. On the other hand, if the Rockets want to avoid paying a lot for a veteran, there may be another method to get this deal done. We'd have suggested that New York Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau could end up pulling his hair out coaching Wood on the defensive end. Here, we're sending Jae'Sean Tate along with him to help move things along. Tate is a sturdy defender. He may be 6'4", but his 230-pound frame and low center of gravity give him the ability to play the 4 spot quite well for stretches. He knows how to make a defensive impact at any forward position. That type of versatility is really valuable in the NBA. He's only 1 year away from restricted free agency. Actually, so is Cam Reddish. Both of these teams would be carrying out this trade knowing that they'd soon have some choices to make. Assuming the Knicks don't plan to rebuild, they'd probably also prefer to exchange decisions. The Houston Rockets get to take a look at 2 players who are younger than the ones they're sending out. That's a good decision, looking at their current circumstances. As for the Knicks, they're swapping Toppin for Wood and Tate here. It's not like they make much use of either Cam Reddish or Kemba Walker anyway. If they're not willing to do this exchange, that means one of 2 things. One could be that they're using one or both Toppin and Reddish to work out a bigger swap, or they plan to kickstart a rebuild. If neither of those conditions holds, this deal should make them even more competitive in the upcoming season. Next, even more deals. There's been quite a few deals going on in the NBA recently. The Denver Nuggets, as per reports, have traded forward JaMychal Green and a 2027 first-round draft pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder in return for the number 30 selection in the 2022 NBA draft and also a couple of future second-round selections. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski gave us the inside scoop on the deal, including the expectation for Green to go for the player option in his 2-year $16.4 million contract, which is effective for the 2022-23 season. Green took on a limited role for the Nuggets from 2021-22. He had an average of 16.2 minutes per game, which is his lowest figure since he was in the 2014 campaign with the Memphis Grizzlies. He had an average of 6.4 points and 4.2 rebounds spread over 67 appearances. Besides that, the 31-year-old University of Alabama graduate shot only around 26% from three-point range. It displayed a steep decline after he knocked down 39.5% of his shots from beyond the arc throughout the last 3 seasons, which gave him a value as a stretch 4. Nuggets head coach Mike Michael Malone lauded Green in February for doing his best in what became a crowded front-court rotation. But having a guy like JaMychal Green, who's a pro, who's a man, who's a veteran, and who just brings toughness and physicality every single night, and he's kind of the head of that second unit in terms of that defensive front line, protecting the basket, that's terrific, Malone told reporters. Now in other news, NBA players react to Andrew Wiggins. The ex-number 1 overall pick is playing his best basketball on the largest stage, and heads are definitely turning. From printing posters to shutting down stars, Andrew Wiggins was the hottest story coming out of Golden State's Game 5 victory against Boston. The former number 1 pick wrapped things up with 26 points and 13 rebounds after gathering 17 points and 16 rebounds in Game 4. Wiggins has seen his career arc shift a whole lot since the Timberwolves exchanged him with the Warriors. He even had his peak in February during his All-Star starting nod. Now he's just a single game away from an NBA championship. The drama of Wiggins' story, exaggerated by his performance, was definitely noticed by the NBA world as ex-players and NBA veterans commented on his play. Tyus Jones was quite impressed. He tweeted, "Yeah, Wiggs," as a show of support. Even star player Zach LaVine couldn't help but praise him. He tweeted, "Keep killing" to Wiggins. Other notable players who noticed his performance were Tyrone Bogues and Kyle Kuzma. Next, insiders expect Zach LaVine to resign with Chicago Bulls. Two-time All-Star Zach LaVine is expected to resign with the Chicago Bulls as soon as the free agency negotiation period starts again on June 30, as per sources who reported it to BR. LaVine's free agency has created a whole lot of conversation among NBA figures throughout the past few weeks. But despite rumors that the Portland Trail Blazers, San Antonio Spurs, Atlanta Hawks, and Los Angeles Lakers will be making plays for LaVine, he's more likely to stay where he is with his current team. Straightening out LaVine's coming deal will apparently center on the contract's 5th year. LaVine is up for a 5-year deal worth roughly $200 million. Whether that season is totally guaranteed or is a player option is yet to be seen. Bleacher Report previously reported about LaVine's desire to be a team's constant offensive centerpiece, which isn't the setup he has going with DeMar DeRozan. But out of all the teams in play for LaVine, only San Antonio could offer that, or at least something close to that, and the Spurs are thought of as quite far off from the postseason environment LaVine would want, leading to skepticism among rival executives over whether or not LaVine ever wanted to take up options outside of Chicago. Meanwhile, the Bulls remain invested in searching for the optimal front-court linchpin to team up with LaVine and DeRozan. Chicago will keep on exploring the trade market for two-time All-Star center Nikola Vucevic, as per sources. Chicago is currently going over the number 18 pick and Kobe White with rival teams. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and let us know in the comments what you think. Do you want to see Christian Wood and Eric Gordon go to New York? Do you think Zach LaVine belongs with the Chicago Bulls? Make sure to click the notification icon so you can see our new videos as soon as they're uploaded. See you next time.